Can we talk for a second? Just a little bit. This is gonna end up just being me kind of venting in different like formats and places, just like where I'm thinking, right? I keep going to like this place where my pops, he is like constantly butting heads with like me, and I don't know so much my little brother, but I know my sister for a little bit, and we've all kind of adapted to it and kind of learned like what to deal with, what not to. But he's constantly like butting heads with us about different things. When it came to me, when I was in college, like right before going to college, actually in high school, I decided, I'm gonna go live on campus, right? And it's different from like what my cousins did, right? Because we grew up in a family where like all the cousins was near each other, we were all close, and we kind of pivoted in different directions. All the cousins was going to like UConn, Stanford. They was all like commuting from home, and I was like, I'm the big brother to like my siblings. I have like a lot of responsibilities I don't necessarily feel like I need to have at that age. So I realistically wanted to go off to campus, not to kind of do anything crazy or anything like that, but more so just to kind of get away, right? And identify myself as like who I am on my own. Like wins, losses didn't matter. I just kind of wanted to identify myself. My pops, all love to him. I love the man. His understanding of it was like he wants to keep his family close, and I didn't really fully understand that until like a couple years ago, where I realized like what my dad really likes is everyone kind of being at home, everyone kind of being under the same roof, not to control anything, but just to have you present, right? And that conflicts with like where me and my siblings are, because my sister is now going off to college. She is going to college only 20 minutes away, but she's still living on campus. So for him, now it's his daughter, his only daughter. He's conflict. He don't want nobody to go. He don't want you away. Not to control, but more so because he wants his kids here. And I know me and my wife are at that place where like, all right, we want to leave. Like we want to leave Connecticut. We've been here long enough. She's not even from here, so she's been here long enough. I've been here long enough. It's time for us to kind of go somewhere else. And so we're like, all right, we're leaving the state. And I talk to him. I let him know. He hates it. He hates the idea of us leaving. But it's because he wants to kind of keep everybody close, right? I think it might just be a fear of like once everyone separates, they're gonna be gone. Like no one's gonna be close around anymore. And I know the things that make him happy is like Thanksgiving when everybody's under the same roof, Christmas when everybody's under the same roof, things like that. And it kind of opened my eyes up to kind of taking a step back and understanding our parents, because we look at it as like conflict, right? We look at it as, they don't want us to be like free to do whatever. And I used to think like that a lot, actually. I used to think like that all the time. But when I was younger, I was like, my dad just doesn't want me doing nothing. My dad doesn't want me like going out. My dad doesn't want me having fun. And then as I got older, I realized my pops never really asked me to do a couple things. And he never really asked me to change my identity as a person. He always asked me to kind of just stick to a couple things. And I've like butted heads with him on it, because back then you always think everything is, oh my God, he doesn't want you to. Right? Oh my God, they have an issue with this. No, I've realized now, my dad asked me to go to church. He asked me to take my education seriously, to work hard, and to be home. Right? He never stopped me from playing sports. He always warned me about friends, but he's never stopped me from actually being around them. He's let me make my own mistakes and think freely. And I think that last one he's struggling with. He's let me make my own choices. He might not like them. He might butt heads with you about them. He might like have these issues, but you were free to make those mistakes, and he'll be here to support you. So I love him for that. But I know it's going to be a struggle, because he's taught his kids to think freely. And so now him telling you what to do, you're kind of looking at him like, not that like out of no disrespect or anything, but more so like, I get what you're saying, but you've taught me to think for myself and understand whether or not I like something or not. And if I don't like it, I'm not going to do it. Right? There was no level of like, I'm going to have control over your life like that. And my mom's not like that. My mom can really just sit back and like let you make your choices, whether it's a positive or a negative. That choice is yours. and you gonna have to live with the consequences. Like, it is what it is. Like, so I really think the way that my parents raised me was, and raised my siblings, was like great. I think the conflicts that happen now, because they're like, hey, our kids are all growing up. Like, my youngest brother is in high school now, so he got 4 years before he's like in this cycle again. But he's also going to constantly be in the cycle over the next 4 years, because my sister's going to be away at college and I'm going to be out the state. So I think he's just at that point where acceptance is just going to have to be the thing for him. But from our perspective, I think my younger siblings is eventually going to get it, like they all do. I did. I used to think my pops really just did not want me to succeed, but then I realized he does. He just wants me to be safe and at home. Because, I mean, if you look at everything, people are out here, wow. I've come to appreciate it. I think I come to understand him a little bit more. Me and him used to butt heads so much. And my dad used to tell me something that still to this day kind of sits with me. He said, 2 grown men can't live under the same roof, right? And I used to think of it as like, oh, you don't want me here, right? And I didn't really think of the philosophy behind it. But my dad's philosophy is on a whole side note, which I'll share with y'all at the end. But he said 2 grown men can't live in the same house, right? In a house where there's a father and a son, that son might be an adult, but the father still holds the authority. Y'all can't live under the same roof, and you expect you to have the same freedoms as somebody who doesn't live at home. My understanding of that is what drove me to kind of like leave home and move to St. Louis on a whim. But as I've gotten older, now I'm married, I live at home with my wife, and me and her 2 adults, so we both share authority within the household. I've come to understand and respect that logic. So yeah, if you're at home with your parents, you can't expect yourself to have that same level of authority as them. You don't own that house. That's not your crib. That's theirs. You live in their house by the grace of what they allow you to do. Whether you agree with that statement or not, if your house ain't on the mortgage papers, if you're not paying the bills in there, like you might be paying like internet or whatever it is, but if it's like you're not paying shit that keeps this house up and running, you don't own shit here. You are at their you are at their mercy. And then not on no disrespectful terms, but just in reality, right? If they turn around and stop like taking care of you, you outside. And they don't have to after a certain age. Whatever they do by grace. And so you should have that grace for them in their processes and how they think about things, because they didn't grow up the way you grew up. My dad's circumstances and where he grew up is completely different from where I grew up. And so understanding that changes your perspective on them. But like, again, I think the way that my dad grew up had to have taught him some major shit, because like I said, this man's philosophy is life-changing. My wife and her family basically know my dad as the guy who was like, yesterday was yesterday, today is today, you gotta eat. And there's a million different ways you can take that, right? For me, I think money, yeah, you know, yesterday's problems is yesterday. Today is a new day. You gotta get up and go to work. You gotta eat. That's how I read it. I know from that perspective, it's like, yo, yesterday's yesterday, today's today. Y'all gotta eat. That accounts for food. Like, whatever you ate yesterday doesn't fucking matter. You gotta eat today, too. But just a little self-reflection before I head back. I'm about to go finish this book, finish this coffee. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.